Starting something brand new today, going to carry you all the way through the end of the year, so all the way through football season. You are going to get a daily dose of college football. Now, as you know, you're going to get more than your daily dose, but specifically a nugget, something you didn't already know perhaps, coming each day on Head to Head. And the College Football Fix is driven by your local Mississippi Ford dealer. Come into the Ford Summer Sales Event to get the best deals of the summer on their incredible lineup. You can see your local Ford dealer today to find out why Ford is the most popular brand. So the three teams today, this is College Football Fix, the three teams today here at Media Days on day one, Florida Gators, new coach Jim McElwain. Vanderbilt coming off a tough year a season ago, trying to turn things around. And maybe the most interesting team in the West. One of the most interesting teams in the West because they might be really good and they might be kind of average. The Auburn Tigers. Gus Malzahn was on stage early, and he was asked about his starting quarterback, Jeremy Johnson.
He ran a very similar offense. The fact that this will be his third year in our system, even though he's the backup, he got a lot of reps with the ones in practice. He has two starts, of course, last year, starting out against an SEC opponent in the first half at home. Feel very good about where he's at. His coaches and his teammates have a lot of confidence in him, and he's earned that. And I really appreciate the way that he responded to not being the starter the last couple of years when he could have started for the majority of the teams. And the way he's really responded is really something special.
You on board with Jeremy Johnson?
Well, yeah, I think so far I don't think that this offense at Auburn is one that is incredibly difficult to learn for quarterbacks. There's something about what Gus Malzahn does and the way he teaches. What is the statistic, Richard? I mean, how many quarterbacks has he gone through as a head coach? He's had a first-year quarterback every year as a coach until this past year. It was the first time he had one returning, and that was Nick Marshall. Marshall, in his first year at Auburn in that Malzahn offense, they go playing themselves into the national championship game. Cam Newton, yeah, he's Superman, but still, 1 year there, learn the offense, run it smoothly. It is simple. There is something about the way he teaches it. So I think that's a little bit different. I take that out of the equation. The mental part of it is not part of the equation. So then it's physical, and Jeremy Johnson is tall. He throws the ball really well. He's got an extremely strong arm. I saw that in the spring game. And he's a better athlete than maybe they want to give him credit for. So the question then is, does that offense really change that much? It's been a run-oriented offense at Auburn under Gus Malzahn. Is that really going to change? Here's Malzahn talking about his offense this year going forward, a little further, a little more in-depth on what maybe to expect.
But we are going to build our offense around our quarterback strengths. Nick Marshall was one of the better zone read quarterbacks in recent history. Jeremy has the ability. He can flat out throw it. He can make every throw that you ask him to do. But he's a better runner than people think. We didn't ask him to run the last couple of years, but he's a big athletic guy, probably runs a 4.6. So, he will allow us to call all of our offense.
You heard Cole say earlier when we were talking about Auburn that you may see more 4 and 5 wide. Well, my question about that is Auburn got the depth at receiver to go 4 and 5 wide?
Yeah.
You lose Sammy Coates from a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are bodies there, but are there big threats there if you spread it out that much offensively and really start to throw? That's why I think this is going to be an Auburn team that you got to watch early. I mean, the schedule for Auburn. Louisville to open, Jacksonville State, LSU in Baton Rouge, Mississippi State in Auburn, then San Jose State. They have an open date before going to Lexington. Got to go to Fayetteville, host Ole Miss, go to College Station, then host Georgia, Idaho, and Alabama. So 3 straight home games to finish the year.
I think, too, that an offense sometimes has to be careful when you have a great receiver like Duke Williams returning on your football team to try to force feed him the ball too much. And it can get confusing as a quarterback if, on one hand, your coaches are sending you plays and they've taught you how to read plays and how to read coverages, and on the other hand, too, every game plan they're telling you to constantly look for one-on-one matchups that are favorable with this guy. And you're like, well, which do I do? And this is a first-year quarterback. I think it's one thing they have to be careful with Johnson this year is I think it could be to his detriment if, like he said today, when Duke Williams is covered, he's really not covered, well, be careful about relying on that. As a quarterback, you better go in there and read the play versus the defense and get the ball to the guy that's open, because if you're trying to do that and at the same time you call yourself, you're still looking over your shoulder thinking, well, if he's got one-on-one, should I get him the ball? When you have one main guy, sometimes you have to be very careful about force-feeding him the football because it'll come back to bite you.
All right, I'm going to blow your mind. Duke Williams is open even when he's covered. But what about when he's covered by a DB who's baiting him or baiting the quarterback into thinking he's not covered, but he's really covered?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Senquez Golson last year. We talked about how he got to the point where he was playing at such a high level from a confidence standpoint that he was at times sagging before breaking on the ball, trying to bait throws. So what are you talking about when you got a receiver who say, well, you know what, he's even open when he's covered, and then you got guys that are baiting you into throws? I just think it's a –
Well, look, also, Richard, it's not just about baiting into that. You think about Senquez Golson. A year ago, Auburn threw one big touchdown on him. He covered Sammy Coates like a glove, but Coates just went up and made the play because he's 6'4". See, that's what I'm saying. You have to be careful how you view those guys. It's still when you throw them one-on-one stuff, it still has to be within the read of the offense is all that I'm saying. All right, Jeremy Johnson, here's a little bit of a back-and-forth question and answer real quick. You can hear from the new Auburn quarterback that everybody's talking about. Who's the personality on the SEC net? Peter Burns. That's the name I couldn't remember there for a second. But Peter Burns interviewing Auburn quarterback Jeremy Johnson earlier today.
Just to get better each and every game. And my main goal and focus is just to get back to the SEC championship.
How about for the team? As far as, has Gus said anything as far as you guys in this offseason, what you want to accomplish at the end of 2015?
Our main focus is to get to the SEC championship, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Are you having fun? Is this pressure, or is this? I see the smile on your face. What's this experience been like, just overall knowing that you're going to be the starting quarterback for Auburn?
It's no pressure. Like I said, I'm here to play this sport, and all this come with it. I'm blessed, and it's not only just a blessing for me, but my entire family and the whole entire Auburn family.
What's that going to be like when you first take the field once again this season? What's that feeling going to be like?
It's gonna feel real great. You're going to see a lot of smiling and a lot of just having fun.
And then that means we'll all be having fun in college football. Jeremy, thanks for the time.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jeremy, I don't know if you're listening right now, but don't kid yourself that there is pressure.
Yeah.
Say, there's no pressure. No pressure on me. Yeah, there is. A lot, actually.
Yeah, and the great ones don't feel much pressure.
There you go.
They don't recognize it, and so if you're an Auburn fan, you hope that's a good sign. Now, Gus Malzahn, normally duller than a sack of hammers, but I thought he had a great quote today. He was asked about Jim Harbaugh coming to the state of Alabama to recruit.
And I think that whole thing kind of got blown out of proportion, to be honest with you. I mean, the chances of a team up north coming into our state and a player that us or Alabama wants are slim to none.
Whoo! Yeah. Us or Alabama, player that we want, chances of Michigan or team from up north coming here and getting them, slim to none. Confident approach from Gus Malzahn on the whole recruiting deal there.
That was not dull as a bag of hammers.
That was not dull.
Shots fired.
Hey, look, you normally don't get that kind of quote from Gus Malzahn. Maybe it's a thing as years go by and he is a head coach. He has more experiences doing these interviews. Maybe he loosens up and gives you more of that stuff of what he's really thinking, which that's the kind of thing we come to SEC Media Days for.
No, I think he just thinks the whole thing of Jim Harbaugh coming down here to poach players is stupid.
Well,
he knows he's got a system in place to make sure that he gets the guys that he wants out of the state of Alabama.
Yeah, the system. So at Ole Miss, we have the network.
Well, I mean, it would have felt cliche if I had called it the network.
At Auburn, we have the system. I'm about to tweet that. Richard Cross just said on the radio that much like Ole Miss has the network.
No, now you're lying because I didn't say that.
Auburn has the system.
I didn't say anything about Ole Miss and the network. I said.
And Alabama has the process. We are starting to figure things out, ladies and gents. on Head-to-Head Super Talk Mississippi.
Auburn and Jeremy Johnson, the focus of today's college football fix. That was a lot of fun. We're going to do that every single day. Your daily college football fix is driven by your local Mississippi Ford dealer. Come into the Ford Summer Sales Event to get the best deals of the summer on their incredible lineup. See your local Ford dealer today to find out why Ford is the most popular